In this lesson, we are going to learn how to make your own custom widgets. While the standard Flutter material widgets provide us a lot of choices, there are times when we want to make our own widgets. In this lesson, we will make a custom button widgets and create a function to go along with it. We will also learn how to pass our functions to the custom widget. Now, let's get started. Today we are going to learn about custom widgets. Widgets we often use are not created separately for each page but are custom made before use. Widgets can be made directly, not just those that are built in. It's easy to make if we assume we want to create a button, use the method of classifying the widgets separately and loading it. In this code, let's create and use the button widget directly. First, we are going to generate a class extended with stateless widget to create a widget. The name is custom button because it is a button we make for ourselves. Declare the required parameters in the final formats. What do we need in order to make a button? The required parameters for the button we want are text, onPressed, primary, and elevation. Declare each parameter in final form and set it in the constructor so that the custom button can receive input. If we set the constructor to required, we must set the parameters using a custom widget. Next, we are going to build a widget that returns elevated button. Pass the previously declared parameter to the value for each property. Now let's try the custom button we made in the state class. We generate total of 3 buttons, but let's compare the properties of each buttons differently. The first button is created using only the text property. So we are going to try to run the code. Since there is only the text, there is no particular function. Now we are going to try running it with 2 buttons. For the second button, there is elevation and the primary color. So as you can see, this second button has green color and there is a shadow because of elevation. Lastly, we are going to use the third button. The third button is created using only text and onPressed. To enable the onPressed feature, declare the bold type variable isPressed and initialize it to false. We will also create a text widget to show how the state changes when the button is pressed with ternary operator. To use onPressed at this time, we need to create a new function in state class. Let's generate a void type function with no return value in the state class. It may not seem easy in the first view, but it's the same size as declaring a variable. Name it third button pressed and use the print function to print the values to the dartpad console with the isPressed value. It also uses the setState function to change the variable's value each time when the button is pressed. Now we are going to try to run the code. As you can see, there are 3 buttons because we created 3 custom buttons. The first has text, second has text and elevation and primary color. And for the last one, we have onPressed function. So if we try to press this button, this third button pressed function is going to get called. And as you can see, this button pressed false is printed in the console. And this text widget also changes. And if we press it again, it becomes true, and this text widget changes again. Now, try to practice this yourself in dartpad or locally and see the different results and outputs. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.